Hey everyone, sorry for being away for a while, but working on my game for Android, and that's on Google Play. This video is going to be basically pertaining to a kind of tutorial where if you're making a first-person shooter game, you can shoot a gun with a projectile. So this could be kind of handy. Um, yeah, so let's go ahead and get on this. So what I always like to do is show what is the, what do you call it, like the finished project first, so that way you can find out if this is the video for you. So anyways, so we've got the gun here, and this is real simple because I don't want you guys having to go through a lot, especially if you're learning, but it's about the basic function. So we got our gun, which is just a simple gray tube, like a barrel. And so what you're supposed to be doing is it's just firing a bullet or a tennis ball. So, and a couple of things is that you're wondering what that square is. That's where the object is shooting out from, and you're probably wondering why I have that there instead of out of the barrel itself, and I'll tell you that in a second. So we have a couple of things. You can shoot a target, and I've got gravity on, but on that target with a rigid body, but I've constrained it so it doesn't, basically doesn't fall. It's kind of missing it right now, but it's so we got that. But if you hit one target, it'll actually destroy itself. So these are little things. You can do all kinds of things with this. You can, if it detects a collision, you can add a point. You can do all kinds of things, and so I'll get to that all right now. Alright, so this is our barrel, and the barrel doesn't really do much. It's a stand-in. So this is your first-person character controller. You would just position it, and that's pretty much it. As long as it's with the camera, then it'll just rotate and look pretty or ugly because I've got a tube here. So yeah. The only thing I do have on this barrel here is the fire bullet script, and we'll get to that in a second. The one thing is that I have with also accompany the first person character is the aim object. Now the aim object is separated. It's separate from the actual barrel, and the reason why I don't have the bullet leaving the barrel is because just in case I need to fine-tune this aiming thing. It's real easy for at least for me, and I'm sure there's gonna be different ways to do this, but this is the one thing I like, is because the forward, which is apparently going out this way, it's straight down. It's kind of vague, but it's that's the forward. If I was wrong on the forward, if it was going this way instead, I could just simply rotate it and aim it. And if it's not accurate on the crosshair, if I was to add a crosshair to this, then I could just simply adjust it. So it's, to me, it saves some time. So the aim doesn't really do much. Actually, I could probably turn off the collider too, or just get rid of it entirely. I don't think I need a collider there. And the bullet. Okay, so with the bullet, you can want to make it basically just for this tutorial, and you can do it with any object essentially. But what I did was, it's simply just a spear that's colored yellow, and we do have a rigid body that uses gravity. There is the bullet script for its speed. It's self-destruct, so I'll talk about that in a second, and a box collider. So, and the trigger is set to off. Okay. So I could sit there all day and just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. Now that could be a problem if the bullet doesn't self-destruct after so many seconds. Then that's when you start having memory either on your mobile or your console, or whatever you're using to run your game. Once you get to so many bullets and they're not self-destructing, or they're not destroying, as in terms of code, that starts eating up memory, and before you know it, your game stalls. So that could be a problem. Now, for the bullet itself, you want to make it a prefab. I mean, after you create it here in 3D Objects, Spear, you can always. I'm just gonna run the process. Once you're done creating the spear, you can just click and drag it here to your workspace, and you have a prefab. Of course, there's nothing here. So I'm just going to get rid of this real quick. And alright, so there we go. Now this bullet was created in a particular manner, so let's get the easy stuff. Add a rigid body to it. Add a box collider, which you're going to set to off. Okay. This object, when you create it in the world and it's still here in the hierarchy before you make it a prefab, okay? Two scripts, the bullet script and the self-destruct, okay? So this is going to be probably a more lengthy tutorial, but it's a fun one. Alright, so I'll show you the bullet script first, since it's the most complicated. I've got to get to the script. Sorry about the beeping. That was my dinner being done. Okay, let's see. Screen number 3, and there we go. Okay, so we're going to do a couple things here. I think I said I was going to do the bullet script first. Yeah, okay. So you would attach script to the tennis ball, or the bullet. Just do what you want, but add it to what you want, I should say. So this one here is basically its momentum or speed. It's go, So basically the transform position that it's currently at, it's going to be basically adding, so towards its forward times speed times delta time. So it's making it go based on time, and I think on speed, and it's forward. So whatever it currently it's at, well, it's going to add more to it according to the speed. The cool part about this is that because the public float speed, you can adjust the speed. So that's, because it's public, and I'll show that later. So if it doesn't work out for you, like if the speed's at 10, it just falls down to the ground, and you can add it to 50 or 100, or Sonic Boom at 1000. I don't know, whatever you want. So we got that one. Now we talked about memory issues, so this is also attached to the bullet, and you want to make sure that in the update, tell it to destroy game object, and it basically say find the bullet clone, because this is what the name's going to look like once it starts making clones of itself as you're shooting it out. It's instantiating. So, and this is just on the tennis ball side. I gotta still get to the barrel script, and we'll get to that in a second. But for every clone, it's find that game object and destroy it in whatever time it is. So this is, I think, seconds. So this would be once every second destroy it. It's approximate. I know it kind of floats around. Float, which is the slow guy here. So you could say like 1.0, 1.3, it should accept it. And alright, so we got that. Okay, and we'll get to this little guy in a second. So that's if when the object hits something, what it'll do to it. Okay, so on the barrel, we have the fire bullet script, and I will get to that back over here. So lots of moving parts here, but once you get them all synced together, it's all good. Alright, so here's the fire bullet script that's attached to the barrel. and we got three parts to this, three variables. So we got two game objects and one float variable. So one is the aim object, that's the cube at the end of the barrel, and this is your bullet. So remember that, bullet. Let's call this the aim cube. Okay. All right. So the code is most of the code is gonna be in the update. All right. So if it detects if input.get mouse button down 0. Okay. And you're wondering what in the world is that? So it's saying if left mouse button is clicked. So that's what this little guy here is saying. And you know, if you want to make sure that, because 0 is left mouse button, 2 I think, no, I'm sorry, 1 is right mouse button, and 2 is middle mouse. So you can have a bunch of if statements and have them do all different things, you know. But for this one, since the left mouse button click, you're going to say, hey, print this message in the console, press primary button. So I would start that, you know, this line right here, I would start there. That way you know for sure, you know, you have the left mouse button clicked. Okay. Alright, so next, you want to instantiate the variable, but you want to do it through, you want to pass it through like another variable itself. So basically you're instantiating the bullet prefab at a particular position, and the bullet prefab is going to have its own rotation. I think pretty much that's what it's saying. Okay, so this is what makes it show up at the location. So I'll say it shows up at pretty much aim location. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. No, this just instantiates it. So just say instantiates bullet. Okay. Next line down, this will give the bullet its position. Okay. So it's saying, hey, we're going to show up at the aim object, which is the cube. And it's going to be given its, the bullet is going to be given its technical forward somewhat. And there's a problem with that, because if you do not go anymore, if you don't include this one guy right here, it'll maintain the forward always. So you can turn to the left and it'll go, the bullet will still be shooting straight right, if that makes any sense. The aim will be completely off. So next you have the bullet object, and this is what gives it its aim. So the bullet's forward will equal the aim object transform dot forward times the speed. So this kind of keeps it at the particular aim you want. So it kind of updates all the time. If you move the barrel left, it'll shoot where you click. It'll shoot when you click the barrel. Sorry, click the button. And sorry, allergies. And so it'll maintain it. It'll maintain its aim. So the bullet will maintain its velocity towards the direction you want it to shoot at. So that's what this is. Okay, so we got that going on. So that is fixed. This script is fixed onto the barrel. And you're probably wondering, well, what was going on over there? Okay, so the fire bullet script that we were just talking about, the aim object, which is the cube, and we'll go here. Your bullet prefab that you've made in here will go here. And this number is changeable because, you know, if you got a big world, you know, you shoot the barrel at 1,000 or 10,000, or if it's a small world, and you can just set it at 10. It's up to you. So I kept mine, I think initially I kept it at 100, but if you really wanted to go fast, I mean, you can just keep increasing. So we'll do this at 100. Now, the bullets will self-destruct because we have the self-destruct code that we talked about earlier, and that will be on the ball itself here. So it kind of takes care of itself. You know what? I made a mistake. Okay, so this will maintain its aim constantly. Okay, so I'll keep it back at 1,000. Now the bullet here, that's its speed. That's the bullet speed. I'm sorry about that. So you can set it at 10, you can set it at 50, you can set it at 100. It's up to you. So there you go. So that goes on there. It's self-destruct script and the bullet script. Now we had a target, just a simple smash down cylinder, you know, to kind of look like a coin. You give it a rigid body, turn on the gravity, and then I just freeze its position on Y. So freeze the Y position. I don't have it tagged, and there's a reason why. I know, bad joke. Okay, so this little guy here, which was, I think in the previous video, would drain the player's health. Okay. So, a couple things. One, if we open the prefab for the bullet, I did create a new tag for bullet. Alright, you just go to add tag, add the name, and you're good to go. So, there's a reason for that. On the spike, we have the destroy code. I'll show you that right now. Okay, this is your destroy code. So, like we talked about before, we have void on collision enter, and it's saying if the other game object that collides with this spike object has the tag name bullet, destroy this game object, destroy the spike. Okay, and this doesn't require any variables, as you can see. Okay, so it just says, hey, if that one game object that is flying at the spike, which is this object, or it's being hit by the bullet, has the tag bullet, or its category or a tag, destroy the spike. Okay, pretty simple. All right, and that will go on the spike itself. Okay. All right, so for it to detect the actual collision, though, you need to have a box collider. I know we had another box collider with trigger, but that was for something else. That was to destroy, let me call it, subtract the health from the player. So you need to have a different collider that's just not set the trigger. Okay, and then you need to have rigid body, and nothing fancy with that. So this is tag spike, but this isn't this code for the destroy code is not necessary to have a particular tag. Okay, so it just needs to detect a collision with the collider, which you can kind of see in there, and that's as long as the ball hits that collider, it should activate the destroy code. So I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about this one. So to recap, because I'm hitting 20 minutes here. Alright, you've got four scripts. Destroy code goes on the object you want to be destroyed by the bullet. Self-destruct goes on the bullet, or the tennis ball that you've made into a prefab. And the bullet script will go on the bullet and the barrel fire bullet script will go onto the barrel itself. Okay, so pretty much that. Now there is a couple of things that you need to know is that the barrel will go onto the camera, so that's always rotating, and as well as the aim object. The cool part though, if you're wondering like, well, that aimed object will look awkward, you know, since it's a cube attached to a barrel, that's kind of weird. You know, just turn off the mesh render. So that's pretty much it. I will show the game, which is camera 2. And so, yeah, that's pretty much where we began, with me showing what was going on here. Now, you can do a whole bunch of other things too. You can destroy the object, but right before it, you can do a couple of things. You can actually, right before you destroy the object, you can actually, you know, oops, picked up the key. You can have another object show up and delay the destruction of the object. You can actually have another object appear, and that could be like a 2D explosion. You can, before the game object destroys itself, you can add a point. You know, so I'll get into that next tutorial, but that's pretty much it. As you can see, the balls go way up high, and they should start disappearing. At least they should. Oh, that's right. Okay, so be very careful about adjusting time, and I will go back real quick to our script. Right, the self-destruct script. I think that's why I kept it at 1. And try this again. Yeah, so the bullet is destroying itself. So it may look like it's going really far and just kind of disappearing, but in reality it is destroying itself. So yeah, I'm sure there's different ways to do this. You know, so you can see the bullet is, you know, disappearing after so many seconds. It's being deleted automatically. There's so many ways to do this, but this is a pretty basic one. Like I said, you want the spear to be deleted, otherwise these little tennis balls are going to pile up, and after a while your game's going to crash. And so there's the illusion where the ball is being fired out of the barrel, you know, kind of visually, but it's being fired out of the cube. And if something was wrong by aim, I could just simply rotate the cube and it would kind of aim, you know, in the particular direction I need to. Kind of reminds me of how, you know, they would adjust the aim for, I think, old World War II planes. You know, they would just turn a wrench, or they would, you know, they would manually adjust the gun, you know, rather than turn the plane, you know, when they were fine-tuning things. So it just helps so much, you know, because otherwise I might want to keep that barrel at a particular distance or particular angle, rotation, you know, just for visual aspects, you know, but then I might want to have that, you know, bullet flying at a particular angle so that, you know, it just remains visually striking. And that barrel doesn't need to be a tube. It could be a very fancy gun. You know, this is a very basic tutorial, but you know, you can do a lot of things with this. You know, it's dependent on like how much coding you know, how much, visual effects, your bullet could be an actual bullet, so yeah, if you have any more questions with this, let me know. I know it's kind of been a lengthy tutorial, like I think now it's like 25 minutes, but as you can see, there was a lot going on. Now the aim object does not need to be attached to the barrel, and I'll get into that right now. That's going to go on the camera net. So as you can see, first person character, the cube was, I think, for a previous tutorial, that's where you would pick up an object, and I think this is our cannon and our aim object, which is now reappeared. So the aim object is not parented to the cannon cylinder object. It is part of the camera. So there you go. So thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know, but like, comment, and subscribe if this has helped. And yeah, thank you so much.